watching what the rainbow's in.
Hey everyone, this is Peter Skoll for Music is a Journey. You know, I've been saving this video topic for a rainy day, and the problem has been that we just haven't really had many rainy days. It started way back in February, in a very dry winter day when I was walking to the station and I was listening to an album I hadn't listened to for a while, and there was a song on there that mentioned rain. And then it occurred to me that just the other day I had listened to two other songs about rain. And I thought, you know what, maybe I can make a rain song playlist to talk about when the rainy season starts. Well, okay, the rainy season here starts in June. But I mean, you know, April showers, kind of was hoping that they would come along, and well, yeah, alright, so at the beginning of this video I threw in a couple of scenes from my garden when we actually had a rainy day, but it does tend to stay pretty dry around here, and maybe a little bit drier than usual until about May or June. So anyway, yes, today's topic is a playlist of just 10 songs dealing with the topic of rain. So when I thought about this, I thought there has to be a couple of criteria. First of all, I went to my computer, typed in rain in the search window there, search bar, for my iTunes library, and checked out all the songs that showed up that had rain in the title. Now very soon I decided that I wanted the selection of songs to be about rain, that is, water precipitation falling from the sky. So a song like Rain in Blood or Raining Blood was not going to pass because, well, thankfully we just don't have blood falling from the sky. And on that note, good thing we don't have men falling from the sky either, although I've never been into that song, It's Raining Men, and certainly it would be a very hazardous situation to be in. Don't know why that woman was singing Hallelujah. But anyway, so yes, they had to be songs that mentioned rain, as in water falling from the sky. Dihydrogen oxide, is it? Dihydrogen monoxide? Anyway, and also the songs had to be include the word rain, rainy, or raining. However, I did not want to include songs that had raindrop, rainbow, rainmaker, or even rain dance for that matter. So I was limiting it to that. And another thing was that there are a lot of songs that I know that include the word rain, but the song is not about raining water. For example, there's Raining Silence or Rainy Soul. And yeah, I think an honorable mention has to go to one from this album here, Sweet Give Us a Wink, with a song called Yesterday's Rain, which I thought originally would be on the list because it is a great song. However, it is not actually about rain at all, but about a kind of controlling woman and this guy who is stronger than her. And it does have a great line in the song, "Up to my balls in cider." And I just gotta think that's a lot of cider to be in. So anyway, it's not about rain. It's just I didn't come down like Yesterday's Rain, You're Fooling Nobody. So that one is just going to get an honorable mention for being a great song that has rain in the title, but it is actually not a song about rain. So now let's get on to my list of 10 songs including rain, rainy, or raining for a rainy day. Where are you? This is not vinyl. This is a special Tommy Bolin, gee willikers. This is a nice booklet here too. No, this is a special Tommy Bolin double CD, kind of career retrospective. It does have this lovely booklet inside though, telling about his life story, pictures of him during various moments in his career. Pretty cool. I don't remember where I got a hold of this. Somewhere off the internet anyway. Maybe Discogs or somewhere else, not sure. But anyway, the reason why I'm showing this is because Tommy Bolin played on an album by the James Gang, and I used to have that on CD. However, there were only 2 songs on that album I actually liked, and both of them are included in this compilation, so I decided I didn't need to have both, and obviously this was more special than the other, so I let it go. But anyway, the opening song for the list is the opening song of that James Gang album, Standing in the Rain, which is a really cool, upbeat, rocking song and about a guy from a small town whose girl from the small town has gone off to the big town somewhere and hooked up with some rich lovers and so on, but he is waiting for her to come back to give her pretty dresses and bonnets. And so a very sweet song about a guy hoping that his small town girl will come back to him. Now for another fellow who is pining to hear from a girl, from Queensryche's Empire album is the song Another Rainy Night, Without You. And the person is sitting by the phone on a rainy night, waiting for the phone to ring, and when he comes home he checks the messages and there are no new messages. So yeah, he is sadly waiting by the phone for that girl to call. Not really sure why he's not calling her, but there's probably a good reason for it. Moving along, from Nazareth's Sound Elixir album, there is a song on here that I've always liked, and it's called Rain on the Window. And the funny thing is that when I listened to it recently, it is actually a really simple song and not particularly interesting. I mean, I certainly wouldn't recommend it. However, I still like listening to it. It starts off with some beautiful acoustic guitar. I'm not sure what kind of acoustic guitar it is, but it's got that little bit of buzz to the notes when you pick them. Sounds really nice. And it has a simple, steady drum beat throughout the whole song. Just in the chorus, it changes from tap, tap, tap to tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, whatever. There is a keyboard solo that is just a wah, 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 wah. I like really simple. And then near the end of the song, it actually sounds like now it's going to get exciting because here comes an acoustic guitar solo, but I don't know if it's electric acoustic, whatever. It just has this like really cool sound to it. And it's like, yeah, it's going to get exciting. And it never really does. But somehow I've always just liked that song. It's a simple melody. It's musically, it's simple, but just, I don't know. I like it. So, what a bad week I've had. There's rain on the window. And it is exactly rain on the window. Well, okay, it could be figurative rain on the window. Could have mean just he's had a bad week. But anyway, I'm going to call that one in as one of the rain songs for my list. The cat wants it. Alright, I'm pretty sure you would have guessed this one's on the list. From Whitesnake's Saints and Sinners album, Crying in the Rain. And yes, they did do that one again a little bit later on. Was it on the Whitesnake album, I think? Anyway, both songs are really good. I like the guitar sound more on the later version of the song. However, I'm not really into that big late 80s production sound that they gave a lot of these metal or glam metal type bands. So as much as I like the guitar sound and the guitar playing and even Dave Coverdale's voice, I actually prefer this version better. So Crying in the Rain. And of course talking about, you know, when you've got like all the troubles in life and, you know, getting beaten down and so on, and nobody knows the heartache, nobody understands the pain, nobody sees the tears when you're crying in the rain. That's a pretty rockin' song. And actually what I like about this one here, it does have this little bit of kind of a bluesy guitar intro to it. But it still rocks out pretty hard, as does, of course, the later one. So, Whitesnake, Crying in the Rain. One of my favorite songs about rain, The Rain Song, from Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy. And what is it, about like 7 minutes long, this track here? And I just think, I've always liked it. I got into Led Zeppelin when I was in, what, like grade 8, grade 9? Something like that, so 13, 14 years old. And I've always liked this song because I've always preferred like the harder rocking stuff of Led Zeppelin. But I like this, you know, this like the gentle piano, you've got the strings, you've got the very beautiful clean electric guitar. And lyrically, it's a song about, I guess, his love going through seasons, you know, and I don't know, the rain, was that a good thing or a bad thing? But anyway, he's come out of the winter of his, what, discontent? Not sure. But anyway, and coming to spring and summer, and I guess rain is a good thing then because it makes everything green and wonderful. Green love. So anyway, the Rain Song from Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy. And yet another song about rain that I really liked, always back in my, well, always since junior high school. From Uriah Heep's The Magician's Birthday, a song simply entitled Rain, which is actually a very beautiful, simple ballad with piano, bit of backing organ, and vocals. Is there any percussion? I don't recall. I just remember that instrumentally, I mean, number of instruments, it is pretty sparse. but very beautiful. And of course, Dave Byron showing that he can sing very softly and wonderfully with lots of like whispered vibrato and so on. Beautiful singing, and a song that I always like to try to sing along to, but I'm not going to do that now. Speaking of singing, I hear a cat who seems to want to come back into the room again. Just a moment. I'm not sure how many videos of mine have had me sitting here speaking while the cat is meowing either outside the door to the veranda or outside the door to this room, and usually 2 or 3 times during a video. And that's not the cat you saw in the last video. This is the older one that was in a much earlier video. Anyway, back to Rain Songs. This is the Tea Party's debut album, which was originally an indie release limited to something like 500 copies way back around 1991 or something like that. And I think just last year it was re-released, finally. I always wanted to hear this because some of the songs on here are early versions of what appeared on their major label debut, Splendor Solace, and then there were other songs that just never appeared on any subsequent albums. So I really wanted to hear this one. And this is actually a double disc featuring one with the original 1991 mastering and one with remastering, which sounds great. Plus comments from the 3 members here. And the song that I picked from here is Watching What the Rain Blows In. One thing that's interesting about this album is that it does have a very strong Led Zeppelin influence. You can hear stuff from, like, inspired by maybe Presence, Physical Graffiti, and a little bit from Houses of the Holy as well. That was their starting point anyway, was to play very blues-based rock with a bit of an Eastern influence and taking a lot of influence from Led Zeppelin. So Watching What the Rain Blows In, a very nice, gentle ballad with clean electric guitar, softly sung vocals. Yeah, I like it. I think there's acoustic guitar in there as well, actually. Or is it mostly acoustic? I forget. Anyway, great song. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix from Electric Ladyland, and what the heck is the song called now? Rainy Day, Dream Away. And there's actually 2 parts to this. There's one which is a kind of intro to the whole thing, and then there's the second part which is the rest. The intro starts off with, let's see, we've got drums, we've got saxophone, bass, organ, and guitar. Sounds like people are just having a kind of jam session in a living room somewhere. And then you hear like Jimmy saying, "Hey man, take a look outside the window and see what's happening." And then there's a bit of a pause with some music, and then another person says, "Hey man, it's raining." And then Jimi Hendrix says, like, you know, it's okay, don't get down about it, or something like that. We can just, you know, stay inside and groove. And then, you know, the music starts playing a little bit more, and then you hear like the other person going like, "Yeah, I see what you mean, man." Or something like that. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's just basically an instrument, not mostly an instrumental. There are lyrics in there as well, of course. There's like this rainy day, dream away, and all these like phrases like "don't let it get you uptight." And anyway, whatever. No, it's not an instrumental. It is a song. It's just got a lot of cool jam grooving in it. And there's this one part I just really like. It's at the end of the first part and beginning of the next part. It's like the guitar's like wow wow. Wow, 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 wow. That sounds neat. Funny thing, a little bit of a story here. I always like original album covers, and I could not get the original album cover for this. So on my phone, or in my iTunes library, I put the original album cover, which is a bunch of topless women. Now, I later on read that actually the record label wanted to have Jimi Hendrix standing with all these women kind of like idolizing him or climbing up his leg or something like that. And Jimmy was against that. He actually had a completely different idea of, I think it was like him and the bandmates standing by these giant mushrooms which are in a park somewhere with kids running around. That was his idea. So I read. But anyway, so the record company said, no, we got to have you as like, you know, rock god and all these like naked women, you know, idolizing you. And he was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And so, you know, all these women showed up for the photo shoot and Jimi Hendrix didn't. So they just went ahead and photographed just all these naked women, topless women. And yeah. And of course it got banned in most other countries. And so they just went ahead with this album cover instead. But yeah, those two, it's 2 parts, but it's the same thing. They're Rainy Day, Dream Away, and pretty cool. I like it. I think we're up to song number 9 now, I'm pretty sure. So I have this collection, complete singles collection of Nazareth, and reason why is because, as I've said a couple of times, I was really into Nazareth in my grade 10 year, and I had all 16 studio albums from the debut up to Cinema at that time. And later on I always thought, yeah, I should get all the CDs, I should. And then later on I thought, maybe I don't need to get them all on CD. I'll just get like a collection like this, and that's good enough. And then get a couple of, my favorites. But by now I have most of them again anyway. But of course there are some tracks on here which were not available previously. However, they now appear as bonus tracks on the reissues. But, okay, down to the Rain song here. The Rain song is track number 5 on disc 3, Every Time It Rains. And this actually was, I don't know what album it was from. I don't know if it was from Snakes and Ladders or Jive. Anyway, I didn't buy any Nazareth albums after Cinema, so it's from, probably one of those two. It is a really kind of like, by the numbers textbook example of a power rock ballad. You've got the acoustic guitar intro and vocals coming in, and a bit of a pause, and then the second verse coming in, and there's a kind of like, the drums have joined in now, and there's a bit of a build-up, and it's where the chorus could come in, but it then goes back again to another verse, and then comes in the chorus with the power chords, every time it rains, da-da-da-da. Anyway, and then they get onto the guitar solo, and then they come back for the chorus, but this time everything just drops down. I think it's only the drums, and maybe the bass too. And then the vocals, singing the chorus, and then the full band comes in, and then the lead guitar is coming in for the dramatic conclusion, and it's such a by the numbers type of a song, but it is a really catchy song. So Every Time It Rains from Nazareth, one of the albums in the late 80s or early 90s. Okay, and my last pick for my 10 rainy day songs from Whitesnake's Good to Be Bad album is a song called Summer Rain, which is actually the one really beautiful Whitesnake ballad that I love. I guess there might be a couple of others somewhere, but all the popular ones from the 80s, that just got played over and over again, Is This Love, whatever, I don't really care for them. But this Summer Rain is really beautiful. Of course, you've got like acoustic guitar, you've got electric guitar, might be a bit of slide guitar in there. You have organ, not synthesizer, and of course drums and bass and vocals. And it's just a very beautiful song, and I never tired of listening to it, actually. Yeah. So, there you go. Those are 10 songs to listen to on a rainy day. Weather report says it might rain on Wednesday. It is now Monday night. It might rain on Wednesday in the afternoon. And guess what? The cat is meowing outside the door again. So I think I'm going to stop the video for here. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you again in another video, probably by next weekend sometime. Take care all. Bye. Oh, and don't forget your umbrella in case it rains. Okay, see you then.